Dax, are you filming this? One of my all-time favorite restaurant classics, and we're gonna make everything from scratch, including the paneer. This is my version of Palak Paneer. So I'm very excited because until I'd tested this recipe, I'd never actually made paneer at home. So this is really cool, and it's a really easy cheese to make. You start off with some milk first of all, and that's a full cream milk in case anyone's wondering. I'm just gonna wait for this to just start to simmer. And then we wanna go in with some salt, and then just some good old lemon juice. Now give that a mix, and by the magical powers of lemon juice and milk solids, you now have some curds in there, hopefully. Just give it a stir, you'll see you're getting that, lots of little curds in there, so that's exactly what you want. Now, it doesn't take long, literally it sort of happens straight away. And then just let that simmer away gently for like a minute or so. Now turn the heat off, and what we need to do is drain these curds into this little situation I have here, which is some muslin cloth and a colander. So I'll pop that into my sink. Okay, so at the moment it's not looking very Instagram worthy. It kind of looks a little bit like a baby vomit, but yeah, someone had to say it. But anyway, that's what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to look like that. You just want to bring up the sides here, and what we're trying to do is kind of squeeze out a lot of that moisture, so we're just left with the curds. So I just kind of like to make a knot here, half a knot. Grab the other side, knot that, and we're kind of left with this little firm bundle of curds. Now what we need to do is wash the curds with some cold water, and then squeeze out as much of that moisture as you can. So at this point, it's cool to the touch, so you shouldn't be burning yourself. Just squeeze out so you've got a nice kind of little blob of curds, firm little pack. All right, now bring that over to a tray or a plate. Now what you want to do here is untie this a little, only because the shape that you kind of start out with now is the shape that you're going to get at the end. So I want to flatten this out a little bit. Just pull that cloth away. Now get another tray or another plate, and just not a really heavy weight. I've just got another little bowl that I'm putting on top here. And then that just needs to go into the fridge for 2 hours, and then you will have paneer. All right, so that gives you plenty of time, and actually what I would do is wait until you're sort of 15-20 minutes away from your paneer being ready, or you can even actually make the paneer the day before so that it's ready to go, because this part is fairly quick, and I don't like to have the spinach sauce sitting around for a long time because it can oxidize and get a bit brown. So when you're sort of almost ready to go, I want you to get some spinach and pop that into some boiling water. This looks like a ridiculous amount of spinach, but it all wilts down into the perfect amount of sauce. Okay, so once your spinach looks beautifully bright, like a bright jade green, and everything's nice and wilted, that's when you want to strain that off. And now you want to rinse this under cold water and stop that cooking process straight away. That way you're sort of preserving the colour as well. Now you want to give this a bit of a squeeze. I will need to probably add a little bit of water into my blender just to get it going a bit later on, but I like to start off just with things a little drier so I can control that moisture. Okay, that's good. Let's get into our blender. Food processor or a blender is good here. You want whatever's the most powerful one that you kind of got to get that really smooth creaminess with the spinach. Okay, so this is always what happens. There's not enough moisture in there for the blender to really kind of get going. So I'm gonna add a little bit of water here. Okay, so once things are like uber smooth in there, it's almost like it gets kind of shiny. It's so smooth. Now look at that color, that is so fun. Ah, So now we can get on to making the sauce itself. What you want to start with is just roasting off some cumin seeds. And by toasting these, we're really kind of getting all of their really intense aromas and essential oils releasing. So that's why we go the extra mile here. Now you know these are ready when you can really smell their intense cumin kind of fragrance. So these look pretty good. These burn really easily, so just be careful with that. Now get that into a mortar. And I don't want to grind this to a fine powder. I kind of just want these seeds bruised a little bit. I like to have a little bit of whole seeds sort of texturally in my sauce for this one. Okay, so that's the sort of situation that you're after right there. And now let's get in here with some ghee. So ghee is basically a butter with the milk solids removed. So you heat the butter and then the milk solids separate and you sort of take the milk solids, remove the milk solids and you're left with fat. But it has like a really cool kind of buttery flavor without those milk solids so you don't get burning. That's the whole idea with ghee and clarified butter. And now we want to go in with some red onion here. And whenever I'm cooking onion, always you want to go in with some salt. Salt helps to draw out the moisture. And I really want to give these onions time to get nice and sweet and cook off that raw onion flavor. If you don't give your onions time at the beginning, that raw onion flavor will stay with you the whole time. It will never go away. So give them some time. I'm going to add in some garlic here as well. And I also want some ginger. Okay, these onions are looking good. They're nice and translucent. They have a beautiful cooked onion smell. So I'm gonna go in now with some chopped tomato. This is fresh tomato, chopped. Now turn the heat down to low and put a lid on, and you wanna simmer that for around about 10 minutes. I want that tomato to really break down and form like the basis of a thick sauce. Okay, this is smelling really good. I mean, just the ghee and the onion and the tomato and garlic, great stuff. You can see that tomato is really broken down in there. So that is looking very good. Let's go in with our other bits and pieces here. We want to get some dried chilies in here. Now this is where you can kind of choose your own adventure. So I'm gonna keep them whole, but if you wanted to make things spicier, you could break it up. And that's gonna give you a nice mild heat here. I'm also gonna add in my cumin here. Stir that through. Oh, that smell is so awesome. Now I'm going to go in with my spinach puree. And now this is looking a little thick to me, so I'm going to add in a little bit of water here as well. Now I just want to let this simmer for, about 5 minutes or so, just so all of the spices and the spinach and everything makes friends in there. Keep that on a really low heat though, because you get a little bit of like green splatter. So while you're waiting for your sauce, you can actually cut up your paneer. So just unwrap or unravel all those knots. And there you have it. Very satisfying indeed. Nice and firm. Now I'm going to cut this into some sort of little chunks here. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, you kind of want it less perfect because then everyone knows that you made it yourself. It has this really lovely creamy flavor. I really love that. Yeah, I'm just a little bit salty as well. Can't really taste the lemon juice. Obviously it was just to kind of get the curds going. That's cool. All right, so I reckon this sauce is good to go. So final little bits and pieces here. What we want to do is add in some cream. All right, so to that I also want to add, this is a little ingredient called kasuri methi. Now I'm really sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, but it is actually fenugreek leaves. And for me it gives the Palak Paneer that real restaurant flavor, I guess. It's kind of the thing that I think is missing sometimes when you're making this at home. I also add this to my butter chicken, so that's really good. If you can't get a hold of fenugreek leaves, try some dried mint. I think that gives a little bit of a special flavor. Not quite the same, but it gives you that same kind of vibe, if you like. Now carefully add in your paneer. It's quite firm, it doesn't break up too much, which is pretty cool. Just mix that through. Okay, final little bit of zhuzhing here. We want some garam masala and some salt. So I think this is one of the things, I don't know, when I first started making a lot of Indian food at home, and actually it was after I traveled to India that I realized I wasn't adding enough salt into my Indian dishes at home. I really feel like the salt just brings everything together, particularly when you've got a whole lot of spinach, basically, in a dish, or you know, the salt really brings out the fragrance and the flavor of the spices, I think. So be generous with the salt is what I'm saying. And that is pretty much it, my friends. So let's get this served up. I am choosing some roti bread to serve mine with today, but obviously rice is equally as good. Choose your own adventure there. Extra little drizzle of cream, a few more fenugreek leaves, and a final little chili on top. And there you go, friends, my version of Palak Paneer. How exciting that we made our own paneer, our own sauce from scratch, and it is looking just like the restaurant version. Oh, Dax is another slab! Jamie, we got another slab! 2 slabs! Dax is 2 slabs down.
Oh
hey, Jamie,
God, it's my wife. She can pay
did
for
you
it.
request the last beer? Do I get to request this one? Nice. So the rule is, in case you don't want to know, guys, is that if your phone goes off during filming, you have to buy everyone a slab, which in Australia means a carton of beer, which is very nice. Or a bottle of red wine, Dax.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go, friends. This is my version of Palak Paneer. How fun that we made our own cheese. We made everything from scratch. It's just so satisfying. Not as satisfying as this bite's going to be, though, I bet. Yay! That is so good. That paneer, it looked really firm when I was slicing it, but it kind of really softens up when it warms through in the spinach sauce. It is creamy, and then that beautiful, and it's just slightly spicy spinach sauce is just really epic. Wow, so excited. I have like green teeth everywhere. All right, I think I'm good. Dax, is it time for beer yet? Hey friends, I hope you enjoyed that one. If you did, why not hit the like button? And even better, I would love so much if you would subscribe and even hit that little bell button so you get notified every time I release a new delicious video. Thanks, guys.